Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first video of mine, my name is Lexi and I talk about all things books. In this video I'm going to be doing a reading vlog and it's going to be a romance reading vlog. Now in my last video I did the BuzzFeed 2021 Full Reading Challenge. That was very much dark, thriller, gothic vibe books, which is perfect for the time, perfect for the challenge, but I felt like I needed something a bit more lighthearted, so I wanted to get back into some romance. I'm going to be sharing some of my reads with you. I'm going to be keeping you updated along the way what I think. The first book that I'm going to start reading is The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I spoke about this and the plot of this in a video that I will put up here. It was a book haul. Now the reason that I'm starting with this one is because number one, it's in the first one in a series of Helen Huang's books, but also because someone else has put this on hold at the library, so I need to give this one back earlier than all the rest of my books. I'm really excited to get started on this and I will let you know what I think as I get through. I'm obviously terrible at these reading vlogs. Since I last spoken to you, I've finished The Kiss Quotient and I really enjoyed this. I thought it was really sweet. I didn't realise how kind of explicit it was going to be. In the blurb it says that he is teaching her how to be a girlfriend. No, he starts off teaching her how to have sex, which I was not expecting. That was very interesting, but I really enjoyed it. I really like Stella. I have a little bit of social anxiety, which is nothing to do with autism, but I felt like when she was in her kind of anxious social situations that I felt like I could relate to her a tiny bit during that. And I really enjoyed Michael. I got a little bit frustrated at him towards the end because I felt like he was just doing a bit too much. Like, of course he was trying to help his family, but it annoyed me that he had to cook all the meals. Like, he had like however many sisters and he was the one that then had to come home and cook for them all. Everyone can pitch in, surely. I really like discovering why he was an escort and why he felt like he wasn't good enough for Stella. I really loved the chemistry between them two. Even though there was a slightly darker history, especially to Michael, I really like the feel-good vibes of the book and just how they interacted with each other. I just wish they were a bit more honest with each other. A nice, happy, light-hearted read after some of the heavier books that I've read recently. This was a really nice book and I'm excited to read the second instalment, which is The Bride Test, which I think follows Michael's cousin Kai. But yeah, definitely pick this one up if you want a nice light-hearted, fun romance read. And then I actually read a Colleen Hoover romance and that was Heart to Bones. Now this is the second book of Colleen Hoover's I've read, and this is also the second book that I've taken less than a day to read. That must say something about Colleen Hoover's writing and her books. I absolutely love her and I really enjoyed this book as well. I'm trying to find it here, just get up in front of me. Now this book is about Dea and her mother is an addict and she isn't really in touch with her father. Now something quite tragic happens and she goes to live with her father just for the rest of the summer before she goes to college. Now she didn't realise that actually her father is now quite wealthy, so she goes to Texas and they live right on the beach in a beautiful house. She becomes really friendly with her stepsister and her stepsister's boyfriend, and he also has a friend that lives next door who is called Samson. She develops a bit of a relationship with Samson. It doesn't start off that well in the first instance, although they do seem to have an attraction, but quite quickly. I wouldn't say this is massively slow burning, but I don't know if that's just because I read the book so quickly, but they obviously develop a relationship between each other and I really liked their dynamic. Samson came across as very secretive. He didn't want her to know about his life really, and he was very withholding of any information about himself. And Bea was very similar as well. I think she was a little bit more open than him, but she didn't even tell her dad about the tragedy that happens in the beginning of the book, which is very unusual. I'm not entirely sure why she didn't, but I feel like she feels like she needs to protect herself as well. Something happens towards the end that I quite liked what happened in the end, although it was a very sad ending and it wasn't exactly what you wanted to happen near the end. I feel like I'm glad that she decided to go with that and didn't push hard for a happily ever after ending kind of thing without giving away too much what happens. So if you've read the book, you know. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I love Colleen Hoover's writing. I've now got Regretting You to read, but I'm tossing up what to read next. I've got, what have I got? The Spanish Love Deception, Colleen Hoover's Regretting You. I've got the Bride Test. I might do Beach Read. But yeah, I'll let you know what I decide to start with next. But I'm really enjoying this bit of romance in my life. Again, like I said, it's been a bit dark recently with the books that I've been reading. I am going to do some reading tonight. I will probably get back to you tomorrow with an update of the next book that I'm going to read. I'm trying hard. Remember, I am new to this, so my vlogs are only going to get better from here on out. I will keep practicing. I will keep trying to update you more regularly. But yeah. So yeah, I will see you soon. So I am back with some more romance content. I know I've not been good with coming back to you on this, but I'm giving myself some grace because I've been watching some other booktubers and I've noticed that a lot of them, they give themselves a good few weeks for some of their vlogs, and of course I want to get a bit better going forward. I want to be able to do like a weekly vlog or a weekend vlog, but because this one I specifically wanted to centre around romance books, there's been a couple of other books that I've been trying to finish in the meantime. This one's obviously taken me a little bit longer, but I wanted to update you again. I have finished The Spanish Love Deception by Eleanor Armas. Now I gave this one 3 stars. Now I know that people love this story, but I struggled with it so much at first. I just felt it was so long and so drawn out. In between all of the dialogue, Lena would have these thoughts, and there would be these long thoughts in between her conversation. So it would be like he would say hey, and then she'd have this long thought, and then she'd say hello, and it just sounds so stupid, but it was just so long-winded, and I was getting really bored by it, and they didn't even arrive in Spain until like the 70% mark. It just really frustrated me. Once it hit about the 75-80% mark, I really enjoyed it. I loved the relationship between them. I felt like when she was elaborating on her thoughts and feelings, it was more called for in those moments because she was having this intense reaction to Aaron, the love interest. So I felt like that matched that moment in the book, but I really struggled with it in the first instance. I think if I hadn't struggled so much in the beginning of the book, this would probably be a 4-star. But seeing as I almost gave up on it, I had to give it 3 stars. If you haven't heard about this book, it is about a woman called Lena, and she lives in the US, but her family all live in Spain. She used to live in Spain, and she is going back to Spain for her sister's wedding. She needs to bring a date because her ex is going to be there, and her family are a little bit overbearing, and she just wants to put on a show that she's happy and content and not single. So a guy she works with called Aaron agrees to go to Spain with her to help with this, and Aaron and her don't get along at all. They work together and they've never really had a good relationship. You kind of figure out in the book why that happens. It was a nice read in the end, and a lovely bit of smut, and definitely something that I would recommend to those of you that don't like to rush through these books because like I said, it is a very long one. So that one is the 3rd book. Now I am about 40% through Beach Read, which I'm really enjoying at the moment. I'm loving this book. This is about January and Augustus, and they are both writers, and they decide to swap genres for a while because they've got some writer's block, and obviously this is a romance book. They're going to fall in love. I'm also reading, and I'm about 55% through, The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the 2nd instalment in the Bridgerton series. If you're aware of Bridgerton, this follows Anthony, who is the oldest Bridgerton, and he has decided that he wants to settle down finally and look for a wife. And this follows Kate, who has decided to come to the London scene to look for a husband as well, along with her sister Edwina. Now her sister is supposed to be beautiful and has all the attentions of the men. Anthony actually decides that he is going to pursue Edwina, but Kate, Edwina's sister, and Kate is who kind of the story focuses around, she doesn't take a liking to Anthony, and she doesn't want Edwina to marry him because he is such a rake. She doesn't think that he is a suitable husband for her. They are obviously getting to know each other a little bit better, very reluctantly. I'm really enjoying the relationship between the both of them, this enemies to lovers plot, and yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I will continue reading them and I will update you when I have probably finished both of them. Hi, so I'm back here with an update, and I finished The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. Now I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed the story. I think it helped dropped that I watched the first season of Bridgerton on Netflix, so I already had an idea of who Anthony was in my mind. And the Viscount actually wanted to marry Edwina, but he had to get Kate's permission to do so, as they were very, very close and both their parents had passed away. I really enjoyed the tension between Kate and Anthony. I don't think it was overdone. I feel like sometimes it can be a little bit overdone, as I find that it was in the Spanish Love Deception, but I feel like they still had this playfulness about them, and there was a couple of kind of funny situations which I'm actually excited to see in the Netflix show when season 2 comes out. I'm really hoping that they include those into the series, because I feel like it's going to be a really good laugh to watch that. But yeah, I really enjoyed the development of their relationship. It was very kind of light-hearted, and I really enjoyed Anthony, and I liked Anthony from the beginning. I think he was very fully aware of who he was and what he was bringing to the table. There was no pretenses to him. He was kind of very honest, but he also obviously had his demons as well. And yeah, I really enjoyed the story. It was a nice bit of romance. Like I say, light-hearted. It's nothing that gets too deep, but definitely something that you should read if you have read the first Bridgerton book, or if not, definitely start the series. I think it is 100% worth it, and there is a reason why they adapted it into a Netflix show. So like I said, I'm currently reading Beach Read. I think that is going to be the last book in this reading vlog, because otherwise this is going to go for like months and months if I just keep adding them. So I'm about 60% through Beach Read, and I actually have the hard copy of this, so I'm reading that. I'm loving the dynamic between the two. I'm loving the fact that they've developed this friendship between them. I'm glad that it wasn't this drawn out enemies to lovers. In the beginning of the book they touched on the fact that they may be kind of enemies, but I like that they've kind of reeled that back in and they're kind of friends at the moment. I'm excited to see how it develops. We're finding out a lot about Gus's past, and January is still trying to come to terms with a lot of the things that she's gone through. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this one at the moment. It seems to be that I'm reading for ages and I'm not seem to be turning many pages. I don't know why. Like always, I will come back to you with an update as soon as I have one. So this is the last section of this video, and I've just finished Beach Read. Here it is here. I need to return this back from the library quite soon actually, because it's running out. It's not my favourite romance book, but I loved how they got really deep and there was a lot of kind of hard-hitting topics within this book, and I quite like that. It wasn't so airy-fairy as a lot of romances can be, and I really enjoyed the development of Gus's character, how you kind of assumed he was a real cynic in the beginning and that he didn't believe in love at all, and I love the journey that he went on throughout the book and how much we learnt about him and how we realised that he wasn't actually quite as cynical as he seemed. And the backstory with January's father was really interesting as well, and the ending of that, how that all rounded out in the end, really was heartbreaking. So that was a really nice touch. I'm really glad that they had this theme running through the book as well. I think that was a really important way to round January's character as a whole. But overall, I enjoyed this book. I don't think I loved it quite as much as so many other people loved it. I don't understand quite the hype with it. It did take me a little bit of a while to get through. I found myself reading other books over this one, but then I decided to have a big sprint towards the end and really get it finished. I definitely preferred the second half of the book, so if you do start reading this and you're struggling to get into it a little bit, then I would say it's definitely worth keeping with it, sticking with it until the end. Anyway, a lovely book and a nice way to finish this romance reading vlog. So that is everything, guys. I really enjoyed getting back into romance. I felt like I didn't read any romance for ages, and I'm really glad to get back in it again, and I definitely have some more that I want to read. But that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before I go though, I do just want to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of me and more of these types of videos. Like this video if you like vlogs, and comment below, let me know if you've read any of these books or if I've made you want to read any of these books. I would love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye.